and welcome to episode 21 of Snap on This. I have tried to avoid the hello and welcome intro because to me it's the Snap Judgments intro, but lately I've been watching Taskmaster and that's how Greg Davis opens Taskmaster, so I'm copying Taskmaster, and I'm sure there are other shows that do that too.
Their music is even better than our music, and our music is pretty good.
Oh, the horn section,
Taskmaster theme is just such a bop.
It is a banger.
Wow.
If you haven't seen Taskmaster, watch it. It's fantastic. British reality TV at its finest. I'm LaurenWhatevs, here with my usual co-host to talk about Marvel Snap, not British reality TV. It is an odd-numbered episode, so we're starting with odd-numbered Ree. There's only one of her. How was your week in Snap? And keep it snappy.
Recovering from the flu, actually, mostly now. But even more sad to me. It's like Victoria Ann betrayed me in that I forgot. Like, I got really excited for her. And I even prepped some decks for her, some helicarrier nonsense, just some good old shield nonsense. And then I forgot that just cards sometimes are no fun. The week they came out, when I started playing after I got it, it was just I kept getting Red Guardian, specifically my collector a lot. And it's that's not fun. You can still win, but it's not just about winning for me. It's about how fun I have on the journey. And when your collector is Red Guardian and you don't get the helicarrier, you don't get a clear, you did a really good job clearing out your whole hand. So that helicarrier is going to fill it all up and you get to see collector ding, 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 ding. And, and it just kept happening. I get it. I play Red Guardian. It's great tech. So it's I can't fault people. And it's so this meta, especially in what people are playing for Doom, people are playing, there's a lot of Affliction and Clog. And you know what that's also great against? Decks where you're playing a bunch of little tiny cards like Kate Bishop and Maria Hill and Cable and stuff like that. Affliction and Clog both suck for them. So it just was no fun. So I did the lore appropriate thing when a Marvel character is lost without a title and nowhere to go, no room in the metaverse for them. They run away and join the Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess if you read the comics, this often frequently happens. Guardians of the Galaxy are dumping ground for characters that don't have a title, nothing to do with. I found this, it was I think it was a Rocket Raccoon and Groot deck. I think that I had an auto deck builder put together for weekend missions a while back. And I swapped out US Agent for Iron Patriot because, the Guardians are also the Guardians are good now for the first time, kind of ever in my time playing. I know they've had brief surges before.
The Guardians that are good. Yes. The ones that are good.
Drax.
Yeah, I wanted to be excited because I was this deck has literally all of the Guardians. And it does, except it doesn't have Mantis.
The bad one.
Nope. Mantis is still terrible. Second Dinner refuses to fix her.
Does this deck have Groot Classic in it?
Yes.
Tell me it doesn't have Groot Classic. Oh dear.
No, okay, but speaking of Mantis, that reminded me, I saw the other day, I knew it was a bot deck because, they threw down a Mantis. I'm okay, Snap, this is a bot, because that's how bad Mantis is. And not only that, it was, it was, the split on this Mantis, it was if you were baller enough to be running Mantis in this day and age, you are not running base Prism.
No.
You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, that is like a crime against coolness. So like I was like, bot for sure. Poor Mantis. Like even Wombat Combat was trying to build a deck with her recently. And normally he's like, hey, Ray, you know, like Mantis deck. And usually that's kind of like, for me, that's like kind of like that'll get my kitty ears like perked up. Cause I'm like, oh, Mantis, I wanted so hard to have a good deck for her, but I knew. I'm like, I've tried. Like it's that like James Franco gif with the like first time trying to Mantis.
I don't think I know that one.
It's not his first time either, but like, yeah, it's funny because he came back like 2 hours late and he's like, no, I'm done. Okay, sorry. This deck, though, the Guardians. Normally, okay, I'm only now getting all of my Guardians split for the first time because that's how little I've played Guardians. Because, like, I just don't like, if I can't, like, have a very good reason to guess where they are, I don't like straight guessing. But now that we have like Nebula and Daredevil and Jean Grey, you know what I mean? All these tools and like that combined with locations and stuff, and Iron Patriot, right? Now you like, you know, you have a much better chance to do what they say. And they've buffed all of the Guardians so that they're more power than they used to be. So, like, you know, if you get that Nebula down, right? Like, you know, because so, like, I would always hold, it's got Rocket, obviously, which is really fun. Oh, man, a Rocket on Jean Grey. Jean Grey is awesome on this deck. It's so fun to, like, ping it's like, Rocket, you hang out with Jean Grey over here, and then drop, like, on turn 5 because you Daredeviled, and you just get all the places they played with Guardians in that turn. Or you just drop a big Gamora. I'm so excited to get to play Gamora. This deck literally has Nebula, Rocket, all the Guardians minus Mantis, Groot, Rocket Raccoon and Groot, Drax and Gamora. And, okay, but here's the cards that help it, you know, fill around. Negasonic, right? Because you're going to get, you you have a lot of low cards that get big. So Negasonic and with Jean Grey, right? And I love Negasonic, too, because the fun of her is to get to show how smart you are. Because, like, you know, like, it's like, I mean, it's like, because you have to, well, okay, if it's turn 5 and you Daredevil, you just like, you just toast. You just didn't know I had the Negasonic. But like, the other times when you can read their deck and you're like, this is the turn they're going to play the Doom in 2099, and this is where they're going to play. Okay, maybe you know that's where they're going to play because of Jean, but still, it feels really smart when you're like, Negasonic, dear. You're Doom 2099. So also, Eliath, right? Oh, Ben.
May I interject with 2 quick things? For the true believers, we solved Mantis back in episode 4, Respect to Dracula. So go check that out if you want to know all the ways that Mantis could be better and more interesting and still relevant and playable and stuff. And also, I just wanted to say that I turn out to have made the unfun, not Guardians themed version of the deck Ree is describing, and I'll be talking about that in my weekend snap. And you got to the Negasonic part, and I'm like, oh, Ree just made the fun version of my deck with like flavor. That
sounds like normal to me,
stuff.
though.
The risk and reward, yeah.
Anywho,
your decks are too thinky. No,
we'll see about that.
Yeah, so like a lot, it's so fun to like get people with Guardians because not a lot of people. That's when things are most fun for me, when I can do things that other people aren't expecting. And like when you come and it's like, you know, you show up with your star and you're like, got him, you know, like it's fun. And Rocket Raccoon and Groot still stuck against Luke Cage, but there's less of that now, and it's just like, you know. Like, even if it only gets to 3-7 or 3-8, you know how many people... Yeah. Power creep on cards, right?
I mean, 3-7 is kind of an only. I mean, if it's a 3-7, that means it's really a 3-11. But I mean,
because look at what Negasonic is when you play her right. You know?
Yeah. I'm just saying a 3-7 is like not that much to write home about. If you're only getting 3-7 value out of Rocket Raccoon and Groot, I don't know. Maybe try
3-7 that can move is pretty fun, though.
No, it's very fun.
Also, it's not really a 3/7 if you've pinged off. Then it's really a 3/11 or something because you've still
a 3/11. If the body is 3/7, that means there's 4 more floating around. In affliction.
And it's really obnoxious to people. I know when I'm a playing opponent, and I don't know if they muted because I already auto-muted them. But it's like, I know they're mad when I have Rocket and Raccoon, and then they have to reveal all their little tiny, like, Victoria hand cable, like, Kate Bishop cards. I'm like, ping, 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 ping. And then it's like, and you can fill the lane, the Jean Grey lane. It's a card, because before you needed... Jean Grey was more awkward because it's like you needed more cards to like fill and move out of her lane, but with the Guardians you needed stuff that worked. And now like there's more cards that move on their own. So it's like some of these weird decks, like the Guardians, have kind of like gotten beefy. I mean, I'll still, a Shadow King still hurts. It's still straight to the gut. But like, one, you're still like beefing up multiple lanes. And two, like playing, a lot of the times I've lost, it's like I should have known that they were going to play. I allianced the wrong lane, and I see how I should have known. I should have gotten the other one. I just didn't want to take the 30 seconds to think it through. I just wanted to take the 5 to take my turn. But like, I love that in a deck. I love when I lost in a deck and I see where it's my fault that I lost, because I'm like, then I know that I feel like the deck's still tight.
And you can like tell where the room for improvement is and stuff. That's I don't know. Like that's like a personal thing when I can identify that like, oh, I could have won that if I had like done it better. Then I'm like, oh, you'll do it better in the future and it'll be great and you'll win.
Or you'll make the same mistake over and over.
But then the mistake was yours, not your deck's. Like your deck
eventually you get it
won.
right. Yes, exactly. No, and eventually you learn. So yeah, this deck has been fun. That's what I've been playing so far on ladder and stuff. It's been fun. Oh, one thing, I never talk much about my rank because like I don't like super care, but I will say I made a change in the way I played from like, say, my earlier months where it was like, I get to infinite and then it's like, oh, good, I can turn it off. I'm just going to see out every game. I'm going to not care. And then at some point I was like, it's aggravating to then have to try and turn on the good mindset again. And it gets exhausting. And then if you start doing conquest, you just like need to have that brainwave. So I just started, I'm just always going to play like that. And unless I'm making like a conscious decision because I want to see something. And since then, I've like always been in the top 10K, usually hovering around top 5, like over or less, depending on how much conquest versus that I'm playing. So, and I still like brew on ladder. I still kind of do what I want. I don't do super stupid stuff usually, unless I'm tilted to super tank my rank. But it's like, you can still be like, not like super high up there, but reasonably high up there without like super caring, just always, mostly snapping, retreating like you should. Anyway, so that's about where I go. Although I haven't for the last couple months gone for like a day 1 infinite because it's just time I don't have on Tuesdays. That's my week.
I'm going to talk about my Gamora before Ben's week because Gamora is a card I've played a lot, and it's a card that I've paid 5,000 tokens for the ultimate, and it's a card that I have in ink with Rainbow Crackle. It didn't matter. We still beat me when we faced off, and I had that beautiful Gamora, but there she is. And I don't know. I feel like I'm one of the few players who likes Drax, mostly because I played him with Storm and Professor X, and he was the sweet spot that could work for both. Whereas Rescue was better with Professor X and Jessica Jones was better with Storm. He worked with both of them. Anyway.
Yeah. No, Drax is like good. Oh man, I also have a great. I don't know. I mean, some of it is just like if you're better at reading decks and stuff, then you're
in your deck?
Then you can play less good. Yeah, Drax is in this deck.
Oh wow! I guess you said it's all of them.
It was all the Guardians, but Mantis. Yeah, no, and Gamora. I love Gamora. And the last time I really played her was like old Clog. When you were ending it with like a good morning trap. Anyway, I think I did cover. I am good for my snap. I covered all the cards in the deck.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. All right.
We'll go on to our other co-host, Ben. How was your weekend snap? And keep it snappy.
It was a pretty good weekend snap for the most part. I did, oh my goodness. So I was comfortably within those top 1,000 for #pod goals. But then I just had to mess with it on Tuesday morning before reset. And like, I lost some games and I got a little flustered. And then I realized that I hadn't claimed my conquest rewards, and also I hadn't done the weekend mission. And so I screwed off to conquest, and I did an infinity conquest, and now I've got sushi modoc, so that's nice. But I knocked myself out of the top 1,000 on the ladder board. I did take... Once it became clear that I was tanking it, I took a screenshot just to prove it. But yeah, yep. Sure enough, I collapsed that whole dream. But I'll get it this month. I think I'm going to try this month because I found it very frustrating, and it just like it was such like a bad decision. It was so undisciplined of me, just like intemperate and not.
It's so hard to stop when you're like on that losing streak, and you should stop, whether it's the matchmaking or your mindset, or it's so hard to stop. But yeah,
and I'd been having like such a good month. I think it was like my all-time best month in terms of like snap points up for like time invested. I was like only playing when I was feeling clever and stuff, and like I don't know. I don't take it that seriously. I still like do all my bounty stuff on the ladder and all my cooking and brewing and crafting, invention, other artisanal words. I don't know. Anywho, speaking of which, I built a new deck today, just this very morning. And it is kind of a lot like Rie's deck, except without any of the charm. It's called Codependence Day because Iron Patriot and 4th of July. It's like Independence Day, but like, what if it was funny and a little twisted? You know me and my zany humor. Anywho, the only guardians in this deck are Nebula and Rocket Raccoon and Groot. But let me tell you about their co-stars. Nebula. Here's the interesting card. America Chavez. I was trying to play Martyr in this deck. I couldn't. America's a really good card.
I like it.
Safety Blade's AI tool, his Snapbot thing. I think he mentioned that it thinks that New America, the one cost version of America Chavez, is a really good card. And I'm like, well, maybe it's onto something, because I happen to agree. I think nobody gives her the credit. So yeah, I'm just playing her as a very, very good 1-drop in this particular deck because it needs it. And then, of course, speaking of really good 1-drops, our boy Hydra Bob. I ran into him in Marvel's Midnight Suns, which I've been playing a lot of, and I took a screenshot of that. I was like, I cannot get away from this dude.
Oh yeah.
He's apparently the star of the entire Marvel collection of universes and franchises and things. Anywho, so those are only the first 3 cards I need to pick up the pace. We got Hawkeye. That's Kate Bishop Hawkeye, by the way, not Clint Barton. Get out of here with that. Iron Patriot, Penny Parker, Juggernaut, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Red Guardian, Rocket Raccoon and Groot, Galacta, and Wiccan. That's right. Safety Blade's got me on the Wiccan train now.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just, what am I doing now? Who am I? Ramping? Wiccan is just a card that's good at his job. Excuse me.
And it's like okay if you miss, right? Like a 4/7's like, you don't love it, but it's fine. Yeah. But then when it hits, it's like, it's a win condition. It is it's a lot of extra energy.
Also, you may have noticed the deck like tops out at 4 there with Wiccan. So like, if you don't get your Wiccan going, it's fine. You're still doing like relatively low curve things, but like it has cards to play, like with the generation of Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and Penny Parker and Iron Patriot. Like you have cards to play. And I I don't usually build decks like this that like really do play for the priority and stuff, but you always have to have like sort of like a mission or a goal, like when you're building a deck. And my thought was like, how can I make a deck where it's correct that I don't have Victoria Hand? Because I didn't get Victoria Hand yet, but I'm going to get Victoria Hand, but only after there's a chance of getting those 2,000 tokens instead of 1,000 tokens, because I didn't get where I am by not doing that. You know what I mean?
So on brand.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, the promised ridiculous Token Tuesday happened. There might be another one in 2 weeks on what is it, like the 21st or the 23rd? Let me double check that.
I knew it was a good bundle. So 700 gold for 1,200 tokens. I knew it was a good bundle, but when I saw Kirilis on Twitter say it's the best gold bundle that has ever been,
yeah,
I was like,
it's
whoa,
ridiculous.
I didn't know it was that good.
It is that good. Yeah, there'll be another one on the 21st, but anyway, only if they let it happen.
Gold,
because I truly believe this was a copy paste mistake. Like somebody was having like a number swapping moment on like a spreadsheet or something, because this is the 1,200 tokens from a strong Token Tuesday with the 700 gold from a weak Token Tuesday, and like it's clear they just got like mashed up, like this was a whoopsie. So like if it happens again on the 21st, as has been data mined, like that's nice, but like we shouldn't necessarily take it for granted that it will happen, because it's possible if they have their shit together, like if they can lift a finger to fix the simplest problem, they would set it to be like a regular strong Token Tuesday as they clearly intended. But the thing
they know people would riot if they changed it while it was live.
Well, it's not live yet. This is like the time to fix it. Like,
well, I meant the one that's live right now.
Oh no, that one's not live anymore. It's already gone. Today is Wednesday. We record on Wednesday.
I forget that they only last for a day.
Is a day.
I can't advise people to get it anymore. Get it.
No, this is this is what the forecast is for. I told them last week that was their one warning.
No, anywho. I was so glad you pointed it out. I never look at Token Tuesdays because I save all my gold for like the variant gold bundles usually, and so I too have seen the light and the value of the Token Tuesday forecast.
But yeah, the whole point of my deck was to Lauren, did you have something?
I was going to say, while we're on watch, can you explain what you were saying about Victoria Hand too?
Oh yeah, I'm waiting to open for her because there's going to be a patch that changes the fourth reward in Spotlight Caches, the one that may be a random unowned card or may be a duplicate that gets converted into tokens. It's currently duplicate gets converted into 1,000 tokens, but there is a soon like a patch that's coming on Tuesday, right?
Yep.
At some point, probably earlier in the day before reset, that will change that rate to 2,000 tokens. So I'm waiting in case I roll a duplicate, which is a fairly likely outcome. 50%. I would just like to get 2,000 tokens instead of 1,000. That's me. Yeah. That's my life. I don't know what y'all are up to.
They're permanently changing the dupe value to 2,000. Permanently, it's like semi-permanent. It's a bandage fix until they rework the economy. At that point, who knows if there will even be spotlights anymore.
Yeah, so I think it's always just best to make good decisions when they are available to you and obvious like this. So I'm going to do the good decisions. So that's why I haven't acquired Victoria Hand yet. So that's why like the sort of mission statement for Codependence Day here is we want it to be about Iron Patriot, and somehow it has to be correct to be doing Iron Patriot stuff without Victoria Hand stuff, which means we're not leaning hard into the card generation, but also we do need to kind of have some card generation, because leaning like so hard into this like early priority, like this aggressive push, like this does take us in a Wiccan direction. I feel if we're like, really sticking to our curve, like with that kind of commitment. So like you do need some card generation, but I needed to like get a small amount of card generation that was like just right, where I didn't want to be playing Victoria Hand, and I didn't feel like I was going to be like missing out on anything by not playing Victoria Hand. So that's why we're doing stuff like Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Rocket and Groot. I just love them with Nebula and with Iron Patriot. Like all of these things to just like nudge them about where to play and stuff. I've got Galacta in here. I had Gwenpool for a while. I really have like improved this deck by because it's such an unfamiliar archetype for me. I started with like some different cards, and I had to like work my way to this set of 12. And I think it's working pretty well for me right now in this current form, and I'm pretty proud of it. And I recommend people play it. As I said, I was taking some inspiration from like Safety Blade lists that I'd played recently. When I realized that I needed to do the weekend mission and play some Rocket Raccoon and Groot, I grabbed the Cobra from Safety's Blue Sky, and that's what I won the Infinity Conquest with, and that's what got me my Sushi Modoc. So I will forever think fondly of Safety when I scroll through that in my thing, although I usually just play default avatar, so I don't think about my Infinity avatars very often. But yeah, that's been my weekend snap. So yeah, I really like that deck, and I encourage you to play my deck or that Safety Blade deck that will be in the show notes. I don't know. Somebody take the mic.
I think both of your decks sound fun. I look forward to trying it. Let me record Safety. It's the Cobra one.
Yeah.
Cobra Blade
also,
classic.
Like, if you want to play my deck and you think it should have Alioth in it, I get it. Put Alioth in there.
If you have Prio, Alioth's really good.
I'm also like testing as like a second mission statement. Like, what if it's correct to not play Alioth in this one? But the thing is, it probably is still correct to play Alioth in this one. So like, feel free to do that. But
especially in a deck with Wiccan, when you can play Alioth and something else, it's very strong.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I never run out of stuff to play. I've noticed. Like I always, even when I get the Wiccan stuff off, and even if I get the discount on the Iron Patriot thing, like I still have so many like arrows and spider and like whatever else gets generated. Like I don't know. I'm leery of these big cards. You know me. I'm team small cards for life. But no, I am going to test a version with Alioth for sure.
I have such a journey with Alioth because I hated Alioth when he came out and 8 cards whole. Hated that card. I thought it was so bad for the game. I thought it was so bad that now it's a 50-50 if you should go for priority or not. When before there was like a snowball effect or a rubber banding effect where if you're losing, that's a stronger position to be in. I think that makes for a more interesting game. But I don't know. I think they finally have Alioth in a place where he's very, very strong, but he's not so decisively strong that I don't know. If somebody is clearly playing for Prio, you can expect Alioth to be coming, and it's probably one of the 6 cost cards I play most. Not that I play a ton of them.
It's like a Shang now, you know? It's just one of the big tech cards you always have to be thinking about if it's something that might fit in the deck.
Right, but you can
that's another card that I thought about putting in, but avoided.
Shang, yeah. My weekend snap. My week started great. I found a deck on, I think it was Blue Sky, but it might have been Twitter. It's from Frank Puddle and is a clog deck. And I had so much fun with this deck. I know, right? I got 2 Infinity avatars with it. Because, Clog eats Doom 2099 alive. Which Doom 2099 has been driving me crazy. So I was so pleased to find something that made me happy, or that dealt with it and was fun to play. Because like Ree was saying, I think I'm pretty good at the game, but I have to be having fun when I'm playing too. And so I'll do all kinds of silly things that hurt my rank. But this deck was working great for me in ranked mode too, and I think I had the highest or the best rank I've had in like 3 or 4 months since I totally tanked my rank clip hunting a few times. I peaked around 5k. I finished the season around 8k because like Ben, I went on a terrible little spiral right at the very end where I was doing bad and I kept playing and kept doing bad. But still, I climbed like 800 SP. And I had a great season. Or at least a good wrap up to the season. I got, who did I get? I got Dan Hip, Agent 13, and Noir White Queen. Those are my avatars that I infinitized.
Ooh, Noir White Queen.
Nice.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I need to get
very
more
happy
Annie.
very happy with the Noir White Queen for when I'm rocking the Kind of a Jerk title with a clog deck.
I hate that title. Always an auto mute for me.
I know you do.
I would never auto mute you, Lauren, though. You would get the Gambit hard eyes.
You would auto mute me, and then you'd see my name and unmute me. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Let me read it off. This is going to be my one deck that I read it. You know, the others can just be in the show notes. Hood, one of my favorite cards. Titania, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, U.S. Agent, Green Goblin, Magic, who's not a card I've seen in a lot of clog decks, but let me tell you, when you fill their board on turn 5 and there are 2 more turns to play, you win. Viper, Doc Ock, Hobgoblin, Cannonball, and Gore. Gore also not a card I would have put in clog myself, but he definitely wins some games. If you haven't played a deck like this before, you either use luck or Daredevil to get a Titania onto their side and clog a location. And then at the end of the game, you just play a 1 cost there, and all of a sudden that 5 power is switching over, and it's, adds 10 power to your 1 cost card. It is decisive, and you still have 5 energy left to Cannonball. Don't do it in that order, though. Cannonball first, and then bring Titania home. It's very fun. It's very mean. Like, I am aware of this. Like, it is a sandcastle kicker, and that's not why I like it. So I kind of feel bad the whole time I'm playing it. Like, I'm having so much fun, but I'm aware I'm ruining everybody else's. But it's a fun deck to play. I like the rushy, and clog kind of works like a lockdown or rushdown deck. So yeah. Rest of my week was trying out our new cards. So let's talk about them. Season Pass, Iron Patriot. I don't have his stats. A 2/3?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't give the stats. Yeah, he's a 2/3 okay. For sure, though.
I can't read off his ability
they're
verbatim.
Both 2/3s, if that helps.
Yeah, the whole week is full of 2/3s. He creates a 4, 5, or 6 cost card in your hand, and then if you're still winning that location where he was played at the end of the following turn, then you get a 4 cost discount to that card. Holy moly. He's as I expected. 4 cost is just a gigantic discount.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
I've never played so many 6 cost cards in my life as I have in the past 24 hours. Jeezy Pete's. I mean, like, if you don't count Magneto and Heimdall. Wow. This Gore card that came out recently, quite strong, huh? Especially when it costs 2. Oh my goodness. Wow. Iron Patriot. Hell of a card. Wow.
I mean, right? All the season pass cards have felt very... I mean, I feel like we've sat here the last couple months like, yeah, so P.
But, like, I don't hate this one. I don't think this one's, like, I
don't
think this one's trouble. I think this one's innocent. It's, we're not hurting anybody. Just
but like, don't you want to put it in every single deck? Because it feels like it's just worth it to have a super cheap 4, 5, or 6 cost card.
I don't think so.
Oh, I've come to agree with you. I've mostly played him in Victoria hand decks, but I think out of every card this season, he doesn't need support. He's just a standalone good card. Yeah,
I mean, yeah. It is a very good card.
Because he's 2 costs. You can play him situationally all the way up to turn... even if you play him turn 5, that still gives you a free card. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're not going to get the discount.
Yeah, I've played some without a discount just because he happened to generate a good card.
Play him on turn 4 if you want the free card.
the discount is what I'm saying, but I'm saying at worst, you still got a card, you know?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Just
Yeah, you can play
undiscounted.
a non-discounted card if you want on turn 5. That's true.
I mean, because maybe that 6, maybe that Gore is still your best play, even at 6 power.
He is very big. I don't notice so much when he's on the other side of the board, but when he's like in my hand, staring me down with the big Gore.
Yeah, you're stuff. Like, I can swing an entire lane with one card.
I do see
That's
the
what
appeal.
I'm saying. And you know what the advantage is? They don't know what you have because you could have gotten a 4, 5, or 6 cost card. You know what I mean? So like that, you also have an information advantage, even if you don't have the discount. Like,
but do we really think?
And
that
at worst,
you
played a 2/3. That was
in
a little
every
cheap.
deck. Like I don't think that.
Maybe not an auto include, but Lauren's right where he's his own package. Usually, we're talking about 2 or 3 card packages you got to put in a deck, you know. And he's just a little one piece.
If you really wanted to make him a 2 card package, you could do Bob or Juggernaut, like cards that are almost certainly going to swing it. Rocket and Groot. You know, it's 5 points on. Like
I agree that like those are the cards he goes with, but like, is he that scary? Like, is he a problem? Like, is like,
I don't know if he's a problem because we still haven't seen
from him already.
I have not, but I think he's the most likely to get nerfed out of the entire season. The 4 cost is just such a big discount.
Also, the more I think about Ares, the more I think that card might not be any good at all.
Oh, really? I ultimately put it at number 2 on my like final ranking.
I'm like, does anybody need this card? Like,
nobody needs it. It's boring as hell. But in Surtur, which is already a good deck, he just makes Surtur better.
But it's also a card that like doesn't hit every time, and like if you just play, if he's high Evo, that's like, oof. He doesn't proc Surtur, he doesn't proc Scar. Like he's just nothing. Nothing if you get the 4/6. I don't know.
You're doing something wrong if you're playing Surtur and your Ares isn't becoming a 4/12.
Yeah, but you can't just win every time. Like sometimes. Like the heart of the cards is on your opponent's side. Like
enemy Hela or Arshem has an Infinite in their deck.
I just don't think you can count. Oh my gosh, I played an Infinite earlier today. It was so exciting. I never ever played.
Oh no, wait, that's.
It was a 220.
That's a Valentino. Infinite. That's a Valentino one, yeah.
Yeah.
220.
But I skipped the turn for it and everything, and it worked. I was like, wow, people must have a lot of fun with this card. I never play it because like you generate it and then it's never part of your plan, and yeah. So I don't know. I still think that Iron Patriot is a fun, exciting card that lets me sample all these expensive delights that I would never play otherwise. And I think he's good, clean American fun. Haven't you seen his costume? It's red, white, and blue. He's apple pie. He's baseball. If you don't like Iron Patriot, I don't know. If you got a problem with Iron Patriot, you got a problem with America, and I suggest you let that marinate. With America? No, don't we all? Oh my goodness. Oh, but Iron Patriot is the best of us, is he not? Norman Osborn. For you, for me, for now, for always.
I always recommend getting the season pass because of the very high value, but also just Iron Patriot's very fun. Worth it if you're on the fence. Victoria Hand, 2/3 ongoing. Cards that are created in your hand get +2 power, more or less, right? Did you get her? We know Ben. Ben didn't get her because he's waiting for a chance at 1,000 extra tokens. Ree?
Yep.
Yeah, it took me 2 keys. I got tokens and Victorian, so not the beefier tokens. So I did what I mostly played her in was Wombat Combat tempted me with a very fun looking deck. I used to play a lot of an old Moon Knight Helicarrier, more, collector deck that I called Random Bullshit Go because it's based on the like Moon Knight meme. where's random bullshit go? Okay, if you've seen that. But and like Whelmet made his own version. So I play these kind of decks. They're really fun. And the key to this one, so it does have the classic, right? If you're building one of these decks, it's got all the cards you'd expect, like Collector and MODOK and Helicarrier. And I just said Moon Knight, obviously Swarm. And this is a Victoria hand deck because, that's what we're talking about right now. And Blade and Halloween Wing for the Swarms, and Corvus Glaive, right? Good for hitting Helicarrier Swarm. But what's fun about this too, that like Victoria hand kind of enables, is it's got Mystique. Because your targets for Mystique are Morbius, right? Who can get big in this if you're casting a MODOK down, especially after you Helicarrier to full hand, right? So you can copy Morbius, you can copy Victoria hand, because you maybe have I've made some giant ass swarms, like a bunch of 0-7, 0-9 swarms are like really fun if you pull off some
shenanigans. How could you be upset about that?
So, yeah, and Strong Guy, because I haven't mentioned him yet. He's, of course, here. So I definitely copied some Strong Guys for, like 3/6s. Sometimes above that, because I was getting buffs to Mystique somehow. That's what I was playing. And like I said, people were like red guarding my Collector, and that didn't necessarily mean I would lose, but it did mean I didn't have fun. So I eventually put it down. But this deck was fun. On my version, I'd probably this is probably the better version. I'd probably lean more into the random bullshit go, put into a bunch of like nonsense shield cards or whatever. But this was a good time. That's what I was doing with Victoria hand. Helicarrier. I have a great split on Helicarrier. Helicarrier is one of those cards like Arsham where you want a great split, so all your cards like
everything it makes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got her with tokens, surpassing the token issue. All my future keys will be worth 2,000 tokens on dupes. I did really like the Kate Bishop. It's super cute, but I really love the Flaviano one. So yeah.
It's very good.
I don't know how to evaluate her because she disappointed me, but also she's very strong. And it's not that I thought she'd be ridiculously strong, because in my final ranking, the thing I posted on Twitter, I put her at 3. I think she's easy to compare to Patriot, right? Because she's dropping +2 power everywhere. And she has more power than Patriot, and she's lower cost than Patriot, and that's huge. That's a huge edge to be a 2 cost instead of a 3 cost. But Patriot has Brood, Squirrel Girl, Ultron, Doom, these things that can generate a bunch of targets all at once. Victoria hand doesn't have that. Like, you can do, say, Kate Bishop or Helicarrier to get a bunch of targets in your hand, but then you still have to pay for them. Anyway, it's been very fun to have things like Devil Dino and Collector and Quinjet kind of revived. Shield's a very fun thing. I've tried many content creators' decks. I am sorry to say I did not like Scott's, and I did not like Safety Blades, even though I normally love their decks. Their Victoria hand decks did not work for me. My favorite one so far is Ika's, which is a Devil Dino one. Yeah, that's my favorite one so far. I did a lot of just goofing off on my own, iterating around her. And my favorite thing with her so far that I'm sure somebody else has done it, but I haven't seen anybody else do it, is Moon Girl. Like, you have to set it up right. But Moon Girl and you have Quinjet and Victoria hand, and you could just dump so much power on the last turn.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, she's still going to be a blast once Bullseye comes out and you can do swarm shenanigans. Like, I'm here for that. I'm very glad I got her. She's a fun card that enables cards that haven't worked before, but also I just, I don't think she's as good as Patriot.
Oh, I don't think so either, but I would still like to own this card eventually.
Sure.
Can be fun though, but that's why, like I said, it had been a long time actually since I had been building like decks for cards before they came out, just because I'm not usually excited to play when they release, and I did for her. And my problem was like the decks that I was doing well, like I built my own like Helicarrier deck with this said Quinjet and stuff that was a little more into the random bullshit go aspect of the Helicarrier shield nonsense. But it was like, the more I tried to lean, and that worked well because Helicarrier with Morbius and Collector and stuff, that just goes on its own and does well. The more I tried to lean decks to be for Victoria Hand, the worse they got. And the more it's like, it won't be good till she's in it. And that's not good for me in the way I like to play decks. I never want to lean so hard on a card that it feels like the deck can't win without that card. And that's the feeling I was getting when I was trying to build decks for her ahead of time. Because that's what you do. You build the deck, you put in a swap card, and you just act like you didn't draw her the whole time. And you see how the deck performs, right? Yeah. And when I was testing like that, it's like...
It turns out you made her.
It feels like it's only going to be good if she's in it, and there's not like other, then I'm not building a deck for her. So like, I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of was part of my disappointment.
I think that's a really good evaluation of her. Oh shoot, I had another thing. She can be played on curve. We love a 2-cost that you can play on curve, but she has a lot more power if you play her at the end of the game, because then all of a sudden there's surprise power everywhere. So that's just like something to keep in mind while you're playing her. There is plenty of other stuff you can be playing on 2 instead, right? Like you could be playing a Mirage or Kate Bishop.
Mirage.
The other thing that I did when I was just iterating on my own that I loved, I kept running out of board space. I had way more cards in my hand than on my board. This is when you really want the acid arrow. I added Venom to my decks, and I kind of, for a while, I think that Carnage and Venom are underused outside of Destroy. This is a great place for him, because if you have Victoria on the board, he gets all of the power from her, from the cards that he eats, and then you have space for a bunch more cards. The other thing that I found Venom is good for is if you have an Iron Patriot lane that's full, people don't expect you to fill it the rest of the way, and Venom lets you fill it the rest of the way and still have more space to use afterwards. Yeah.
That's another thing. Shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, I'm jumping in. All right.
Go for it.
One cool thing about Iron Patriot, very friendly to the merge mechanic, because you really want to force you're winning that lane and stuff. And so it's great to have merge cards to keep adding power there, or put power there that like doesn't shut the door for your future plans. Okay, boom. Just another endorsement of Iron Patriot, Ben's new favorite card. Okay.
It is a very fun card, to be honest. I am surprised I've been playing it way more than Victoria Hand lately. Although talking about it makes me want to play her. No, I was just going to say with Lauren's, like, you mentioned that once, like, a long time ago using it, and it's always in the back of my brain. I thought about it with these decks, too, because, like, when you're playing Mirage and Cable and all these little cards to get you other cards that are going to be more power, it's so easy to get clogged up, especially with other people and their acid arrows and all that stuff. But like I have found Rocket Raccoon and Groot are kind of like are what have filled where I think I want to put Venom, and it kind of in the decks I've been playing, it also has that ability to fill a lane for Patriot and move and stuff like that. But I think you're totally right about like as the game has gone on, we've gotten more and more likely that you're going to fill the board by the end of the game, which used to not be the case in the early days of the game. And sometimes it's like a Venom or Carnage completely out of Destroy just to kill some ninjas or,
when you take out somebody's goblin with a Carnage, that's a good feeling.
I haven't done that. I want to do that now. Okay.
In the Young Avengers season, before like the first version of the Heimdall deck that I ended up with that finished in the top 1000 and that I still sort of play sometimes to this day. The first version of that deck, it had Venom in it for purposes because like Kate Bishop really does just like makes a lot of cards, huh? You know, and yeah, she does go well with Venom, and like ultimately Venom got cut because, you know, 12 cards is 12 cards, and it's hard out here. But he is a very useful tool that I wish there were better reasons to like. He's almost correct in a lot of places, you know what I mean? And it like, doesn't quite feel like all the way there, but like promising, right?
Yeah, 2-cost Venom would be all over the place, and you absolutely can't do 2-cost Venom because of Destroy. But if Destroy didn't exist, 2-cost Venom would be awesome, like kind of like a something like that card.
Yeah.
And I know there's Carnage, and Carnage is fine. In fact, Carnage is great, but it's not the same thing as keeping your, you know, gigantic power that you already built up there.
Do you think maybe the reason they've been pushing Merge so much lately is because it opens up board space and also like literal design space? Like they can keep like making more card generation cards and stuff because they're also making more Merge cards to like
to clear it up
the board state, you know?
Merge is totally like an answer to how cramped the board is.
Yeah. Also, sorry, we keep like coming back to Venom, but it's like protecting 1-cost cards from Killmonger by just eating up the power with Venom is always good.
My favorite Banger's move. It's just a really cool deck called Moneyball that just has a bunch of ideas I've never seen used anywhere else. But Venom into Ghost Spider, you could just be like, I don't want the power in that lane. Eat everything in that lane. Move it somewhere else.
That is one of the things in that Heimdall deck I was talking about from the Young Avengers season. That was one of the tricks, the Venom Ghost Spider thing.
It's such a cool move. I mean, you could also do it with Heimdall. Because Heimdall is, he has limitations based on board space. Anyway, so there you have it. Merge, move, or destroy to make room on your board while you're playing Iron Patriot. On to the side quests. First and only this week, Secret Homework. This was assigned by Ben, so take it away.
All right. Secret homework. The secret homework this week was to design a duo card. And I think I foolishly made the extra credit, and you can only do one. And sure enough, I was like, but there are so many that one could do. There were some that I thought about doing, but I was like, I definitely don't want to overlap. So I picked a duo that I thought wasn't going to be too near and dear to either of your hearts. I was like, maybe somebody's going to do Cloak and Dagger because that one seems obvious. And in fact, I did take a wonderful screenshot while I was playing Marvel's Midnight Suns of there's a tarot card of Cloak and Dagger. So there would be a Midnight Suns variant for that card. You could put it in a whole new album or whatever. I don't know. People care about that stuff. But anywho, who are these characters on this duo card? And if they're not near and dear to Lauren or Rhee's heart, are they that near and dear to your heart, Ben? And I'm like, yeah, these are medium okay characters. I like them just fine. I decided that like sometimes it's a lot of pressure if you're trying to design a card for a character that you actually like care about deeply and stuff. And you really want to like capture their essence. So I picked some characters where I feel like I've got a nice safe clinical distance. I don't know. Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, 3/5. You always draw this card on turn 3 and not before. On reveal, replace this location to the location with the location to its left if there is one. What's up? What's up? What's
Whoa.
up? What's up?
Controlled Scarlet Witch.
And you always draw this card on turn 3. This is for people who do not like leaving things to chance. Anywho, it's a 3/5. It's got both of their stats all mashed together. Nice. You know, a 1-cost and a 2-cost. 1/2 and a 2/3. It's a 3/5 if ever I heard one. And I
so they
realized
can't change the left location. Is that how that would work?
That is how that would work.
Okay. That's a slight nerf to the Scarlet Witch. Like you if there's a bad location there, tough luck.
And like I also feel a little bad because technically this first line of text is stolen from Domino, not from Quicksilver, who starts in your opening hand. You always draw this card on turn 3 and not before nonsense. I'm sort of bending the rules, but like I feel like nobody would have noticed if I hadn't pointed it out, right? I don't know.
It's into the spirit.
that's my defense. I thought that would be super fun, and like we all like Scarlet Witch. I personally like Quicksilver. I used to play his HeroClix figure a lot. It had the hypersonic speed ability, quite broken. Quicksilver was not the best piece with hypersonic speed, but it was cheap and available.
I've been reading a lot of their comics lately. They actually just recently had one that was Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver was like the title name.
Cool.
They've been hanging out.
I feel like they're like in the conversation because people just love that Evan Peters fella, and that Ralph Boner and stuff, and the WandaVision and the Agatha All Along. We all loved when Ralph Boner showed up, didn't we? Didn't we?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fine. I liked that they reprised the theme from WandaVision in that scene very subtly in the background. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was the music from the end credits of WandaVision, just in case you weren't paying attention. Anywho, that was Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, and I would play that card.
they'd have fun
I usually
variants.
try to design cards for other people to enjoy, but that one's just for me. That's the card I would play. Goes in Surfer because I dig it.
It is.
I'm pretty proud of
it.
it.
It's a very Ben Duo card. I'm proud of you and your card. Well done.
And it's a
Thank
surfer
you, Reed. That
card.
means a lot. It is.
You need a surfer location changer. Oh wait, that you have Nocturne. Okay, Reed.
Yeah. Two. Okay, I continued my streak of Secret Homework Rebellion and like slightly cheating.
How dare you?
The rules of Secret Homework. And this week, when I was thinking about this, I was trying to think of duos, and what I really wanted to do is I'm still like obsessed with my quest of like how tribal decks, and which because we've all wanted reasons to play the X-Men together, and like
also should we start calling them Kindred? Roy on Snap Judgments calls them Kindred, and it makes me wonder if like are we not supposed to be calling them tribal? Is it hugely problematic in ways that I haven't thought about hard enough? I don't know. I meant to raise this question.
I have a lot of old, outdated terminology. I think it's fair to discuss. A lot of, terminology could be better, but yes. So I've always thought though about how, how that could come into Snap and not suck. And I was like, what if there were these team up cards? So instead of just like, it was like a card that was like the X-Men or something that, that brought together some abilities of these different cards, kind of like the duos do, that would give you a reason to play more of them together. I don't know. Another in my line of like, how can we bring this into Snap? So mine would be the Runaways, which I know that they're holding back. The only reason we only have Nico, the only reason, must be because they're waiting for a Runaway season that they'll do, right?
Oh, I will buy every card that season.
Right, please give us the rest of the Runaways. You have enough for a season, just do it. The season pass card could be the Runaways, introducing this new mechanic. It would be and if you're not familiar with the just the base idea of the Runaways, they're a bunch of kids, like us who grew up, in the old Nintendo days, who found out their parents were super
They've got
villains.
normal parents, right?
They thought they did. They thought, so I guess not like us. But they were normal kids before they found out their parents were super villains. Anyway, and they decided to run away, a lot of them with like artifacts of their parents, and they kind of formed their own superhero squad, and they're a bunch of like teenagers, like just fucking up all the time. Doing their best, getting screwed over by the system and adults and choices made before their time. So that's their whole deal.
Persona 5 Phantom Thieves energy.
Yeah, so I wanted to explain, so thematically the card. So the ability would be a 4/2, and I made an activate card. Why? Just because I think it's pretty powerful, and it's too powerful to be on reveal. That's honestly why it's activate, not because I like activate cards now. Activate absorb all negative power on your side of this location as positive power.
Ooh, oh my goodness.
And absorb would be a new keyword, and yes, it would mean like the hobgoblin would disappear and the runaways would get +8 power.
Whoa, for real?
Oh, you're not setting hobgoblin to 0, you're merging it in.
Right? So if you can get that off on 5, you can actually clear space on your board. But it's an activate with a 4 cost, so you can only play it on 2 turns to get like
oh my gosh.
any use out of it.
And you tie it in with the other runaways because you're going to give them negative power?
Okay, I did say it should tie in to the other runaways, but they haven't been made,
that's
so
so
nobody knows what they would be.
This would have to connect to some hypothetical cards that Three hasn't designed yet.
That's back
unfair.
up my own. Yeah. I refuse to remain consistent in my ideas.
Oh, I like how they're turning around the evil, and they do like they take up the tools of the villainous and turn them towards the what's the name of their parents' secret society again? It's got a fun
Pride.
Pride. That's it. They appropriate the trappings of the Pride.
Like the Void, because right now it's like Cersei and Valk and stuff. It might be fun to have another tool for that. And another tool, because a lot of people are playing Clog. Inspired by all the Clog. I'm annoyed facing it.
More anti-Clog would be nice, huh?
Yeah.
Most of the good anti-Clog cards are like you're not going to run Annihilus unless you're also playing Clog, or previously mentioned Carnage. I briefly considered doing Gertrude and Old Lace as my duo card, but nice. You recently did them, and I was also like, "There's a good chance Rhee's gonna do Runaways," so I didn't. I don't. Do you two have? Oh my goodness, honorary mentions, ones that you almost did but didn't?
Yeah, I thought about doing Rogue and Gambit. I thought about doing Cloak and Dagger. There were like a lot of things where like I just. I thought there was a chance that one of you would pick one of these like pairs, so I just didn't.
I was just like, I also thought, because I was just thinking like classic I wasn't super inspired, so I was like, what are the classic like Marvel duos that are in the game? And I was just like, meh.
Well, I was thinking back to the ice cream you pitched, and like you like painted such a picture with your words of Gambit making these sugar cookies for Rogue. Because I believe your words were because he lovers her, I think is what you said. It just stuck with me, and I was like, that would be a fun duo to do.
Love for her.
Yeah.
I thought of Nico and Carolina, and then Squirrel Girl and Tippy Toe. I thought that would be fun. And Kate Bishop and Lucky the Pizza Dog. But I did none of those. I did characters that I didn't know existed because what I wanted, I had an idea for a mechanic, and I wanted, are there any characters in Marvel that need to like be in each other's presence to use their abilities? Kind of Cloak and Daggery. And I learned about Fenris, which is the name of Baron von Strucker's twins. Andreas von Strucker and Andrea von Strucker. And they have flight and like lasers and shit, but only when they're touching each other. Which is a little weird. And they got their powers from Arnim Zola. So yeah, I'm adding...
like Wonder Twins activate them?
Yeah, I'm adding Nazis to the game, and I'm sorry about that.
We already have Red Skull.
Yeah, and Arnim Zola, who gave them their powers in utero.
Well, Hydras, basically.
Let me just tell you about the theme. There's something that I learned that was, everything. I just barely learned about this. They're just called Fenris when they're together. They don't like transform or anything like that. It's just two people holding hands. They've had some really cool costumes over the years. Also, there's one point where
Wham, a duo.
Yeah, there's one point where... Yes, just like that. There's one point where she dies, and he continues using the abilities because he tans her hide and uses it as the hilt for his sword.
Oh, dear.
Whoa.
Like, really messed up, but also kind of cool.
Kind
It'd be more badass if it wasn't tropey with the fridged woman thing. Like, I think it'd be more bad. And plus, like, women with swords are cooler. Like, I saw a meme on Reddit that was women before sword, women with sword. I'm like, that's how we all feel.
She comes back, of course, because, comics. She's cloned, and then eventually she just comes back properly. They were in the TV show The Gifted, which I didn't even know was a TV show, but it was a TV show covering mutants.
Past it. I know it's not supposed to be good, but I kind of want to watch it just to find out.
Well, they're in episode.
Curious sometimes.
I think. Anyway, here's the card. Fenris. I kind of cheated too because I made 3 cards. Fenris 4/8. Game start. Replace this with the Von Strucker twins. So at the beginning of the game, your deck becomes a 13 card deck. Instead of Fenris, you get Andreas Von Strucker and Andrea Von Strucker. I'll come back to the rest of Fenris's ability in a sec. Andreas and Andrea have the exact same text. Well, almost. They're both 2/4s. They both have activate. But Andreas reads, merge with Andrea to become Fenris. And Andrea has merged with Andreas to become Fenris. If you successfully draw both of them and merge them together, Fenris has an on reveal, destroy the highest power enemy card here. So it's more powerful than Cannonball. It's a 4/8.
Lauren, that is so cool. You added a quest card to the like a real quest card of the merge, get these 2 cards and put them together. Snap doesn't have that yet.
The stats were hard because 2/4 is a pretty good stat line, but it's a pretty big hit to give yourself a 13 card deck. And I of course, I ran the math. The math of drawing both of them in a 6-card game is 46%, and to draw both of them in a 7-card game is 58%.
But they didn't start in your deck, so you can King eit-rie them.
Ooh, very cool. Also, we were thinking maybe Crystal would be worth it. King eit-rie.
No, we got tools for that.
Oh, King eit-rie would be great. And I thought give them an on reveal that bumps the other twin up 1 spot in the deck, something like that. But I wanted to keep them simple. Anyway, if you don't do anything fancy like King eit-rie, then in a 6-turn game, your chances of popping them off is similar to skipping Bruce Banner twice. And in a 7-turn game, it's similar to skipping Bruce Banner 3 times.
Is the merge an on reveal? So if someone played 1 on the board, someone could Cosmo prevent
the merge is an activate, but the destroy is an on reveal. So, maybe, I don't know. Maybe
that'd be cool though, that tension of seeing one of the twins and it's they get the other one.
They're gonna draw the other one or not.
I hope there's an animation where the one gets tanned and hided and turned into a sword.
I hope there isn't. I'll say it.
Sounds like a lost Game of Thrones scene.
Oh, man. I think it can stay lost personally. I don't know if I need to.
Yeah, for real. I don't. I'm done with tortures. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Way off topic.
They both have. I should have finished, or should have explained, more about the destroying enemy cards here. So they both have bioenergy discharges. That's what it was written in, Marvel Wiki or whatever. Andreas's plasma-based concussive force blast could take out the entire Manhattan power grid, and Andrea's energy.
What doesn't, honestly, in comics? This is comics. That's the baseline. You take out the Manhattan grid. Otherwise, can you call yourself a supervillain at all?
Is it even an energy blast? And Andrea's energy blast can disintegrate matter and atomize full-grown humans. So, that's what's going on. They're holding hands, and they destroy your highest power card.
Sounded like some fucked up incestual twins. What it sounds like, to be honest.
I know. You've got to see. They have this one costume that's very I don't know if it's retro or futuristic. It's kind of sexy, and there's a lot of spandex. And
you know what?
You two look like a couple.
They
have a lot of good costumes. Some of them are really lame. They're just wearing red coats together. But
that's what I'm seeing here.
There's one that's really superhero-y.
They've worn a lot of different stuff. There's one where they're dressed kind of like Warbird.
Yeah, they have some wild. There's a lot of variety. I was surprised. Anyway, that's them. Sorry, I wouldn't have picked Nazis if I could find other characters that held hands for power.
No, I have to admit, when we first got this, I was like, it was like late night. I'm like, I'm gonna do Hawk and Dove, but first I have to look up and remember if they're from DC or Marvel. Because all I remember is that they're a duo. They're from DC.
They're from DC.
I was like, okay, well, I can't pick them. But that's how little I knew of them. I was just
they are
you're thinking
Titans,
of duos.
are they not? Or Teen Titans or something?
No idea.
Or
I
both.
only ever see them in the background of shit. Like, oh, Hawk and Dove are here because everyone is. But they're a known duo, so I was like, that's who I'm gonna do.
It's true, they are a known duo.
But then they're wrong universe.
Yeah, I was surprised how few like explicit duos there were in Marvel when I was searching around it.
DC.
I imagine I missed some, but I was still surprised. I thought that there would be some low-hanging fruit there.
Well, there were like all kinds of duos. You could have like done romantic pairings, or like I thought about doing Blob and Eunice the Untouchable, because I think I remember like there's one early X-Men comic where they're doing a false flag operation. They're like robbing a bank dressed as the X-Men or something. And like, they're just two of them, and they're very clearly not the X-Men because one of them is Blob and one of them is Eunice the Untouchable. And yeah, I don't know. Like there are duos abound. You could do Cap and any of the characters I listed in the examples last. I think Marvel is rich with people being friends with each other.
But I don't want it to be like
together.
I don't want it to be a duo where it's like, oh yeah, but that's just like one of their 6 different friends. I want it to be like, no, these two always fight together and they have insane chemistry and they make each other fight better. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Hawk and Dove. When you say one, you say the end. You know.
Well, what about Spider-Man and Black Cat? I feel like that would be a good duo. I kind of thought maybe somebody was going to do Spider-Man and Black Cat, but nobody did that. They do team ups all the time. Because move discard
isn't a thing, Ben.
But it should be.
Someone informed us.
Meek made us a promise that they have never followed up on.
Yeah.
There were so many honorable mentions I couldn't even think of them when asked. Willikers.
In the Speakeasy, which is our section of the Snap Judgments League Discord, where your co-hosts and you can talk to each other on Discord. A bunch of people did the secret homework, and it was awesome. And Adam actually did Spider-Man and it was Marvel team up, and it's like Spider-Man and ... It was really cool.
Oh, I don't think I've seen this yet.
I saw it. I was like, Adam took my idea. I thought of it first, Adam.
He intentionally. He made so many. Honestly, he did Spiral and Mojo. He did. Scott did Nelson and Murdoch. Anyway, there were a bunch of very good ones that people came up with. So go check them out. But also, while I was there, I solicited homework ideas. And one of the ones that was very popular was, this is next week's homework, design a card of a co-host.
Oh.
So I know we're not superheroes. I think that there should be some parody involved, right? Like, don't take it too seriously. LaurenWhatevs is not going to be a Marvel Snap card, but if she was, have some fun with it. Do you want to do a rotation, or do you want to make 2, one for each co-host?
Let's do a rotation. Do 2.
And that way we can recycle this on some future occasion.
There you go. Okay. We're going to go
sustainability.
We're going to go clockwise first. So from my perspective, I will design for Ben. Ben will design for Ree. Ree will design for me.
Okay.
Got it? That's next week's homework. I guess if you're a listener, you can design for whoever you want. Another content creator or one of us. Or somebody who's not a content creator. I don't know.
Honestly, y'all are free to do whatever creative things you want to do at any time, with or without our permission.
Okay, but they want constraints. Constraints breed creativity. Constraints. So that's the challenge is take a snap on this co-host and make them into a Marvel Snap card.
No, design a card based on a person you would like to co-host a podcast with. Make it aspirational.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I design a card for your dream podcast co-host for you.
Love it.
Maybe they already exist. in our
podcast. And if you're already hosting a Marvel Snap podcast, you have to do a card of your existing co-host. Like, just try to mirror our situation as closely as you can. Superimpose it on your own life. Just like, yeah.
If there's more than one of you, you have to go in clockwise from your perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
This is how we do it. These are the rules.
Save counterclockwise for next time. If you liked what you heard, follow us, do all the interaction-y things, comment, like, subscribe, etc. All of the stuff you need to know is in the show notes, whether you're on YouTube or on an audio platform.
I think it's worth mentioning that we are all capable of morphing back into our regular human non-podcast co-host forms, because this was an episode that took less than 2 hours to record. That one's for my Animorphs listener.
Okay. I like when I have to it's funnier because I had no idea where it was going to.
Well,
if you liked that Animorphs reference, let us know. You can email us too, I guess, whatever. I am going to tease this for the next 2 weeks. The season 2 of The SnapPrentice. I'm just doing this because I love The SnapPrentice. I was on the first one. Spoilers, I won the first one after being eliminated, reality TV. But it's modeled after The Apprentice. Devilish will tell you it's modeled after The British Apprentice because the American one has, a guy we don't super like in it. But there are 14 Snap content creators who are competing, and there are silly challenges every single week, and somebody gets fired, and there's all kinds of random shenanigans. And anyway, it's very fun. You can find it on Devilish's Twitch, which is at devilish_play. It debuts on January 17th. Be there. I will be there. I will be involved because I got hired as the winner of season 1. I am the SnapPrentice. Anyway, I loved it. It was a wonderful time. Yeah. Get in there. Support Devilish because it is one of the most ambitious things that happens in the world of Marvel Snap content creation. Anyway, we're part of the Snap Judgments Network, where you can listen to great shows such as Snap Decisions from your host with the most, Snap DJ Joe, on Mondays and Tuesdays, and on other days as prompted by news. If you want to hear a 4th Animorphs reference in a future episode, tune in next week. Same Snap time, same Snap channel.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much we talk about Mantis.
Yeah, well, she's great. Also,
I'm not complaining.
I had fun that one time helping you win the SnapPrentice. I wasn't sure how to mention that, but
bro,
yeah, I did come in there and fucking give up 2 cubes. I think is what I did. I don't know.
Oh my goodness!
I was playing cold. I was not giving up much ground.
In the final 4, we each had to make teams of 3 and play against another one of the teams of 3. And Ben beat. Who did you beat? Do you remember? Was it Harry?
I've got a video recording of it. It was somebody.
Anyway.
Serious. Someone serious.
My team was Ben and Docty, and we beat all 3 of them. I beat Ika. It freaked me out that I did that. Yeah. Anyway, I will never. That's my greatest achievement in all of life.